Hi, my name's Jacqueline Shea Murphy. I'm a professor in the dance department at UC Riverside, and we're here today with a very special guest speaker who's going to talk with us about Cahuilla bird singing and dancing. This is William Madrigal Jr. William is Cahuilla. He grew up on the Cahuilla Reservation in Anza, California, which is about 80 miles southeast of Riverside. He was a student here at UC Riverside until a couple years ago when he graduated with a degree in anthropology and currently works as a cultural resource specialist and an archaeological consultant in the region, the Riverside County area. And he's also the leader of the Mountain Cahuilla Bird Singers, which is a bird singing group that has presented and performed in the area a number of times. So he's agreed to come and be a guest speaker for our class to help us better understand this practice. I'm really honored and excited that you're here with us today. I wanted to start by asking if you could tell us a little bit about what bird singing is, what it's for, a little bit about its history, who does it, and such.
Yeah, bird singing comes from the very beginning of creation for the people, for the Cahuilla people. We sing and dance together quite often, and the songs are about the creation and migration of the people. And from the very beginning, it reinstills the cultural values that were given to us when we were created. And so the singing has been practiced since time immemorial. And so it involves all people, young and old, women and men, coming together to sing and dance and to celebrate life. Mm. And so even though the songs have been around a long time, there was a time when they were in decline and where they almost went extinct, and it was because of the colonization of the people of Southern California. There was a policy called the boarding school era, which took the young kids away from their communities. And so they were put in these government boarding schools, and they were taught European culture, and they were forbidden to speak their language, sing their songs, and practice their religion. And so because of that, the songs were no longer translated. They weren't being taught to the next generation, and till the 1970s the songs weren't being sung at all. And so a group of young people asked the elders if they could teach and sing these songs again. And so because of them, we now have a vibrant community of singers and dancers from all over Southern California.
Yeah, I noticed when at the Singing the Birds Festival at Agua Caliente that there was like dozens of people, young people especially, singing and dancing these days. It seemed pretty vibrant.
Yeah, everybody is participating. Nowadays you have groups from all over Southern California, Baja California, Kumeyaay, and Colorado River Indian tribes. Mm-hmm. And so these songs have been they're being brought back to the people. Mm-hmm. And so it's really a good thing to see all those young kids mm-hmm. growing up hearing and dancing, ever since they were toddlers.
So it's not just Cahuilla, it's from the region of Southern California. Cahuilla bird singing and dancing is one form of bird singing and dancing, or one type. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I've heard people talk about a song cycle. Can you explain what a song cycle is?
Yeah,
how that relates to what we see at festivals and powwows and such?
Yeah, a song cycle consists of a series of songs that are sung in order, and since the bird songs talk about the migration of the people, it's a story of the creation and migration of the people. Mm-hmm. And so each song is a piece of that story. And there are these three, they were told by from our elders that there are 3 song cycles. So each song cycle is sung for one night and 3 nights in a row. So um, the first song cycle has a beginning song, has an ending song. And so the beginning song um, is sung as the beginning of the story.
Okay.
And so each subsequent song is a part of that story. And it's sung all night until the dawn, where the ending song is sung. And that's one cycle.
So when you're presenting at a festival or something, I've seen you at art centers and at graduation. Obviously, you're not singing all night long. What are we seeing there?
Well, what we do is, because of the time constraint, we can't sing all night.
Yeah.
So what we usually do is we pick a few of our favorites out of the song cycle, and we sing those usually about 20 or 30 seconds long. And so we sing to get the crowd going, to get the dancers moving, to get the energy going for the singing and dancing.
Okay. So it's just a small part of a larger picture, in a sense.
Yeah, it's a
a
small representation of the larger song cycle, the story that's being sung.
Interesting. Can you walk us through what we're seeing in the video clips that we've looked at, or when you go and see bird singing, what it looks like, what to watch for?
Yeah, it all starts when the people come together, the dancers and singers. The dancers are facing the singers, and they're all in a line in a semicircle. And so the lead singer will start the song, and he'll sing a couple of warm-up verses of the song. And that will get everybody to start to move, sway a little, and the women will start to sway back and forth, and the men will start. And then there'll be a signal given by the lead singer. And so...
Like a hand signal, or?
Yeah, it's both with his rattle,
okay,
and with his voice.
Okay.
And so that'll be the start of the second high verse, and that's when the full movement starts.
Okay.
The full form of dance begins, and the men will, in their style, will break out of the line, and they'll start to crouch down and get low to the ground. They'll bend their knees, and they'll put one arm out, and the other arm they'll keep rattling to the song. So they got to keep in rhythm with the song. And then they'll start to make the sound that comes out of the pit of their stomach. And it's like a grunting sound. And it's to the rhythm of the song as well. And so they don't have really a set pattern of movement. They'll move around however they would like to. And so they'll be dancing and singing in succession with the song. And the women also have their own style that they break out into, and that's the up and down, the hopping motion. And so what they usually do with their hands together and their elbows out, they'll usually come up off their heels onto the ball of their feet, and they'll be swaying and hopping and jumping to the rhythm of the song. And so that's the full motion of dance for the bird dancing.
So it's not, is the movement set? Is there a particular step that you do to a particular song? Is it choreographed, or is it more?
No, it's not choreographed at all. It's a very free movement, free motion, and each individual dancer will move how they feel, and it'll have to be in sync with the song, in sync with the energy of the song. It's not a free for all though. At the same time, the songs and the dances, they have to be sung in sync with everyone else, and so there's a level of balance, of dignity and respect that has to be maintained by the dancers. And if you lose that, then you start to lose the synchronous pace of the song. So you have to maintain that respect, and because that energy is there, that spiritual energy is there when you're singing and dancing, and that's what everybody is feeding off of, and their spirits are feeding off that.
We've talked in this class about how dance contains and holds cultural values and also like reinforces them. So would you say that what are some of the values that singing bird singing and dancing reinforce and require? And some of them, it sounds like you were just talking about being synchronous, being in connection with other people. I don't know if that's true or if there are others.
Yeah, well, to learn these songs requires a lot of time and a lot of personal effort, and a lot of self-discipline. I think it teaches the younger people to show, teaches them discipline, because you have to really intently want to learn these songs, and you have to approach the right people, and you have to maintain a level of respect and dignity as a singer and as a dancer. So these values are taught and instilled by the elders, and so these elders have to agree to teach you and to mentor you, and so they keep a watchful eye on you. And if you do step out of line, you're misrepresenting the community, and it's detrimental to the community.
So it sounds like there's, you said before that it's not choreographed, you can do whatever you want, but it's within a kind of understanding of what is acceptable.
Within a level of respect.
And also, I noticed, I don't know, it seemed to me, I was watching the women, how much strength it would require to dance, lifting your heels for hours on end, all night long, how much lower back strength and leg strength. It seemed like strength is something that's definitely being developed and reinforced in what I'm seeing. Does that seem right to you?
Yeah, the women, have a grace about them when they move, and they, to the song, and so we hold the women in high esteem, culturally, and because they are the teachers, they're grandmothers, life givers, and keepers of the traditions.
Great. Could you talk a little bit about how bird singing and dancing differs from other forms of dance, like say modern dance or hip hop, or other forms of native dance like powwow dancing? What's particular about Cahuilla bird singing?
Well, I think the difference with bird singing from all those other forms of dance is that bird singing doesn't borrow from any other region other than our own region. Is Southern California, Baja, the Colorado River area. And so with powwow you have a lot of contest dancing, and you have a lot of mixture of other cultures with the dancing. Bird singing is not that way. It's from this area, from this region, and so that's how it's taught.
And how is it taught? Is it taught can you other classes at the gym?
No, you can't learn these dances in the gym. You can't learn how to bird sing and dance from any class or anywhere. You have to be a part of the community, and so you have to be brought up in the culture, and you have to be you have to have access to people that can teach. And so for myself, I was brought up on the reservation, and my father is a singer, and my uncles as well. So I was fortunate enough to be around them, enough to learn and to listen, and so they taught me. But not everyone can just learn these bird songs or pick them up off the internet or anything like that. That's not what they're for.
What can you talk a little bit about what they are for, what their intention is, or what the you've implied that they have that there's a lot of power in them. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's this energy that comes from singing and dancing together. Everybody from the community comes, and that's what moves them. And so the spiritual energy comes from the knowledge that's inherent in these songs, and like I said, it comes from the very beginning of time. And the words and the rhythms, everything has a power to it and a wisdom about it. And so these songs, if they were to ever, stop, would be detrimental to the community,
Mm-hmm.
because that wisdom and that knowledge, that power would stop being transmitted, and it would stop being taught.
Mm-hmm.
And so it would be hard for people to maintain their identity.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about the regalia that you wear and the rattle and the other parts of the performance? Here we have some examples.
Well, yeah, this is a ribbon shirt,
Okay.
and this is what I wear when I sing and dance.
Mm-hmm.
And so what this is that it's just regular fabric,
Mm-hmm.
and some ribbons. And so when I wear this as a representative of the community.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not just a shirt that you can order online or anything like that. You can't buy it at Target.
Singingregalia.com. No,
Nope,
they don't sell it.
they don't got this at Target.
Did you make it?
So yeah, I actually didn't make it, but I had it made with the colors and the ribbons that I liked, and I felt that were appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you can't just wear anything. You can't, you can't put any type of jewelry or beading on this, and that's what's different from the powwow culture, is that you see a lot of feathers and beads and mirrors and different type of flashy things.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what we use. The men, we have ribbon shirts and we wear long pants, and the women have ribbon dresses. They wear a blouse that's similar to this, with the ribbons on the chest and in the back, and then they also have ribbons on their skirt that they wear.
So those are what our kind of everyone has is ribbons on the front and back, and kind of this fabric, this cotton fabric, and then the variations are in the colors and the particular pattern. Is that right?
Yes.
Why did you choose these colors?
Oh, I choose these colors because I like them a lot, and I think they go well together. And like I said, it helps me as a representative of the community, as a singer, to sing and dance.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the appropriate attire, this is the appropriate regalia, if you would like to call it that. And so everyone in the community recognizes you as a singer, and so therefore you're held to that standard as a singer, and that's why I chose this.
And what about the fabric? Is that fabric that the same as what you've always used in bird singing?
No, I mean, obviously this is a modern type of dress. Whereas before contact, of course, we didn't have fabric, we didn't have cottons and stuff. We used more natural materials. We used animal skin and feathers and so forth. Not so much like the powwow dancers, but we use feathers for ceremonial dress. But yeah, this has come out of an adaptation to the modern times. And I think it will continue to adapt, and as we need to wear, these ribbon shirts and ribbon dresses whenever we sing and dance.
It'll look different, 500 years from now.
Definitely, it probably will. Yeah.
Cool. What about the rattle? Can you talk about the gourd rattle? And where's the drum?
Yeah, I get asked that question a lot by people. And I explained to them that we didn't have drums here in California. Those came a lot later. We always had the gourd rattle, though. And for the Southern California people in our region, the gourd rattle was used for social songs, ceremonial songs, everything. And so this rattle, it's actually made out of a bell gourd. It's been cut, and the inside has been cleaned out. And then once it's hollowed out, there's a branch that is cut to fix as the handle. And it can be either cottonwood or willow or oak, some kind of hardwood. Typically not too heavy, though. And then we put the palm seeds inside the gourd because they don't break down. Like rocks or something, will turn to dust, but the palm seeds stay hard for at least 100 years.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And so that's all put together until, and then also the outside is decorated
Mm-hmm.
with any type of symbol or depiction or color that
I
the
noticed
singer
that there's
likes.
little holes in it. What are that for? What's that for?
Yeah, the holes are actually, I put those holes in there just to make it a little bit louder, to make the sound a little bit more crisp.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it can sound muffled
Really?
after you completed everything and put it all together. So, and one way to amplify the sound is to put holes.
Mm-hmm. Did you make this rattle? Do you buy them? Do you make them? What's the story about?
No, you typically, you as a singer, you're required to learn to make the rattle, to make your own rattle. I've made my own rattle in the past. This one, however, was made by a friend of mine who was also a singer.
Mm-hmm.
And so he made it for me. And so you have a lot of people who are just learning to sing or being brought up in the community. They must, learn how to make a rattle. It's part of the process of learning to be a singer.
Not just learning the songs, not just learning the movement, but also making.
But also making your own rattle.
Making your own rattle.
And making your regalia.
Making your regalia.
Uh-huh.
Cool. One question that comes up a lot, or has come up in other classes when people have seen bird singing and dancing, has to do with the gender roles that people see. Sometimes students have been curious about what the relationship between the men and the women is, or seen the men as leading and the women as subservient, or that's a question that's come up. Can you talk to the gender roles and how you understand them? Because I know that from talking to you before, you have a different perspective on it.
Well, I'm still learning, but what I can say is that, even though everybody is dancing together as one community, even though it seems like the women are subservient or whatever to the men, it's not that way at all. In fact, both parts, both the men and the women, are complementing each other. In fact, they cannot, dance or sing usually without each other. So everybody is contributing their own life energy, and contributing to the overall energy of the community. So there's nobody higher than the other. There's nobody who's showing off or showcasing and trying to stand out more than the others. It's everybody coming together as one and celebrating life as one.
So you don't see that analysis that some people see. You see it more about being in balance or being in complement to one another.
Yeah, there's a delicate balance there, and there's a certain grace in the movement. And like I said earlier, is that there has to be dignity and respect maintained at all times for the singing and dancing.
Cool. Thanks. So another question that comes up sometimes is people want to know for whom is it appropriate to sing or dance bird? Can anyone do it? Can they do it? Can non-native people do it? Can non-Kauai people or non-Mojave people or people who aren't? What's the protocol around learning to sing and dance?
Yeah, anybody can do it if they're invited to come up and participate. Like I said, we usually sing around festivals and public events. And what we usually do is invite the public to come up and just to participate in a small way by moving their feet to the beat, and so we teach them the simple beat and movement. And so it's very inclusive for people to come in and to see the dancing and participate. But to be an actual singer, however, requires a lot more instruction. Like I said, you have to be in the community. You have to come up, as a part of that community, and you have to maintain, self-discipline, and you have to ask the right people to learn from and to learn these songs and these dances. So you have to know the meaning. You have to know the language and so forth. It requires a lot of instruction.
so it's inclusive, but there's also a lot of it's specific at the same time. Yeah, interesting. Cool. It sounds like one of the things you said in the past that we've talked about is that it's fun to bird sing, but it's not just about fun. It's has other parts to it as well.
Yeah, when you come together, it's you're seeing old people, you're meeting new people,
Mm-hmm.
your old friends, new friends. So um, there's a lot of connections being made, and so it's important that when everybody sings and dances, that they're connected to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're connected, then everybody is in balance and everybody is in sync.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where you feel that energy, that good medicine, we call it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what the songs are for.
Mm-hmm.
And so that energy feeds your spirit. So these songs are spiritual in a way,
Mm-hmm.
in that way, and that they replenish the spirit of the community.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for coming and talking with us. I
Thank
hope
you.
I've tried to think of the questions that come up most often. If there's other questions that people often ask, we'd love to hear them. But I really appreciate you coming and
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So.
Achima. Thank you. The song I'm going to sing is actually a beginning song. And so, like I said in the beginning, when the people were created, they went on a journey, and they call it their migration journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so this song talks about the people getting ready to go on that journey. The leader, who's the medicine man, is getting everybody together, and he's saying, okay, we're going to go on this journey. We're going to take what we need. We're going to take the essential things that we need to go on the journey. And so he says we're going to take our headdress. He's going to take his bow and arrow, his sacred staff, and lead the people on their migration.
Thank you.
Oh,